I am confident that I would have been hurt or even killed last night had I been leaving alone. This happened almost 24 hours ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. I was alone in an all-night fast food joint in a small town, about half an hour outside of my city. I had gone there with my partner, but he had errands to run, so I spent the time journaling and nursing a drink in a booth. For context, I was wearing a hijab in a town with a population of just 1,800. It was already dark when we arrived around 6:30 p.m. After about an hour, a car pulled into the parking spot right next to my booth. I was deeply engrossed in my writing and only paused to sip my drink. I noticed the car's headlights shining directly at me, but I didn't think much of it until the driver flashed their high beams. I glanced over, expecting to see my partner, but it wasn't his car. I returned to my writing, assuming the flash was just a distraction. A little while later, I noticed a man standing between my booth and the counter. He looked like he was waiting for an order, but I never saw him get anything. When I looked up, he was staring at me with an unsettling intensity. His expression was emotionless, yet somehow hostile. I tried to ignore him, focusing on my writing, but he kept lingering. Eventually, he moved to the other side of the restaurant, closer to my blind spot. There was a partition between us, so he had to be positioned just right to see me. When I started packing my things, he began moving toward the vestibule between the outdoor and indoor doors. I noticed him watching me as I threw my trash away. I quickly checked my phone before standing up, and that's when I saw him facing away from me, but with his head turned back. I grabbed my parka and purse, and he stepped outside, blocking one of the doors but leaving just enough space to squeeze past. I didn't want to get too close, so I headed to the back of the restaurant and slipped into the bathroom. I felt his gaze on me as I moved away. My partner texted me that he had arrived, and I told him I'd be right out. When I left the bathroom, the man was back inside, still facing the doors. I walked right past him into the vestibule, and he stared as I approached the exterior doors. As I walked past the car that had flashed its high beams at me, I could see him watching closely. I got into my partner's car, which was parked next to the man's vehicle. Because my partner had backed in, the guy couldn't see who was driving, but he definitely saw me get into someone else's car. For the first time, I made direct eye contact with him as I got in. He was still staring, hands tucked in his pockets, just watching. A minute later, another car caught up to us, following closely. It was odd because anyone with somewhere to go would have passed us instead of tailing. That car turned off the highway shortly after we left town. I couldn't shake the feeling that the man had flashed his high beams to see if I was aware of my surroundings. He seemed to wait for me to leave, watching to see if I would get into my own car alone. If my partner hadn't been there, it would have been so easy for him to intercept me. He could see everything from where he stood: the staff behind the counter, the bathrooms, the parking lot, and the entrance. I'm grateful I didn't leave alone.